You never know what you're gonna get with a DC movie because sometimes you'll get a hit like Wonder Woman, and other times you'll get trashed like the Suicide Squad. And speaking of the Joker and Harley Quinn, we now have Birds of Prey, which is headlined by, of course, Harley Quinn. And in our real take, we're gonna let you know whether DC has another winner on its hands.
Birds of Prey is directed by Kathy Yan and it stars Margot Robbie, Rosie Perez, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Alongside Journey Smollett-Bell and, of course, everyone's favorite, Obi-Wan.
That's
Ewan
right.
McGregor.
And here we have a story focusing on Harley Quinn, primarily on her dealing with her breakup from Mr. J.
Mr. J.
And also her dealing with just all of these people wanting revenge against her because she has done a lot of people wrong and now she has to pay her dues.
That's right, pay the
so,
piper.
Of course, Margot Robbie, man, what a great performance, right?
Yeah, absolutely. She nails Harley Quinn's idiosyncrasies, her little quirks, her antics. I've seen Margot Robbie in a few other movies, but to me, this is my favorite.
Oh yeah, man. She gives this character such an identifiable signature feel to it, you know? It's totally hers. Her voiceover narration is very well done.
And besides Margot Robbie's stellar performance in this movie, female empowerment was very much in the forefront of this film. And despite the fact that everyone, male or female, they were either a jerk, a double-crosser, or dim-witted, I did feel like they gave the women more complexities and definitely more redeeming qualities than the men in this movie.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, the male characters were a little bit flat and one-dimensional. Ewan McGregor's character, for example, plays the villain in this movie. He's very sadistic and very misogynistic and crazy, and it looks like he had a lot of fun playing this role.
You could tell.
You could tell, and it's a great performance. Again, the villain is a little bit flat, but a lot of fun to watch, you know, I felt.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because I obviously felt differently about Ewan McGregor's taking this role. I was wondering, like, how did he get duped into playing this weird, funky role? Like, I don't know, maybe because I see him so much as Obi-Wan. I was like, this
he was a little bit outlandish.
A little bit beneath him. I was like, it was all over, the characters all over the place, and it was, for me it was a little cringy. But I definitely see your point.
He's definitely weird and unsettling.
Now, I don't want to forget Smollett-Bell's portrayal of the character Black Canary, which I thought was surprisingly good. I've never heard of, Journey Smollett-Bell before. This is my first time seeing her, and I really liked the intensity that she brought to that character, her range of emotions. Granted, she wasn't obviously as much in the forefront as she was, but I thought for what she was given, I thought she did a really knockout job, and I'm really looking forward to see what other movies she pops up in.
Solid, absolutely.
She was good.
And I also want to give a quick shout out to Ella J. Basco, who plays Cassandra Cain, who is another, supporting female character in the film. I really dug the scenes that she had specifically with Margot Robbie in the movie. I think that the two of them together had good chemistry. What about Rosie Perez, by the way?
Oh, Rosie Perez. We haven't seen Rosie Perez in a movie like this in a while, I think. And I was excited to see her in another big movie finally, but I was disappointed. I thought her acting was terrible. And it wasn't just the writing or the dialogue. I just think her delivery was not very convincing. They were kind of using her as a caricature of, as they said, like an 80s cop or 80s detective.
Right.
But still, though, I was like, eesh, man.
Speaking of caricature, man, that's one thing that I really kind of was surprisingly liked about this movie, is that even though there was a lot of violence and a lot of action, and it was relentless action, and a lot of fighting and a lot of kicking and punching, and I love that about this movie. I appreciated the fact that it was more like a caricature movie than a bloody movie. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I felt
it wasn't too serious.
It wasn't too serious,
very self-aware.
Right, exactly, and it felt like I was watching a comic book movie
unfold,
and it wasn't very realistic as far as like showing you the blood and guts and all of that stuff.
Yeah, like there's even a scene where she's using a weapon where it's just shooting like, bean bags or some confetti
or like paintball, type of stuff.
Even still, though, I have to say I didn't really care much for a lot of the dialogue. I understand understand that this was kind of a silly movie, but some of the dialogue to me was kind of corny, and I was like, it's kind of weighing it down a little bit.
I think it attempted to be witty and humorous, and attempted, of course, to be sarcastic, but it definitely came off as, it was weak, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Not to mention that the storyline as a whole was a bit predictable.
Absolutely.
But I did like how some of the flashbacks were kind of like placed throughout the movie, creating this slightly non-linear plot.
Which is always refreshing.
It's refreshing.
Yeah.
Like they would stop, and I really liked like it's very Scorsese, right? Like Goodfellas, where they have these freeze frames, and then they have voiceover narration over the freezed frames, and then they do the flashbacks.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of dug that about the movie. It was stylish, you know. It was refreshing.
Yeah, and the action sequences were very over the top, but I didn't mind at all, because if anyone knows me, you know I love me some crazy, unrealistic action.
Yes,
yes. Go to this movie alone to watch all the fighting and all the crazy stunts. It is worth the price of admission if you love a lot of that.
Yes, you're gonna watch a lot of Margot Robbie kicking some butt.
But besides all that, one thing I had really enjoyed from the get-go, they started off with some animation. They had some graphic cut-ins.
Oh yeah.
With some of that voiceover narration that you're mentioning.
Yes.
And I also liked the soundtrack. I thought it was very appropriate for a lot of the scenes, and it was very upbeat, and I dug it for sure.
Visually striking, you know, definitely there was a careful attention to the cinematography, especially towards the end, which takes place like at a Funhouse Carnival, not giving too much away, but that was really cool at the end.
So I told you at the beginning that we would let you know in our real take whether we felt like this was a DC winner or loser, and I'll go first. I will say it is definitely not a loser, but I'm not going to say that it was an absolute home run winner either. For me, I would give this about 3.5 reels, and that's mostly because I felt like I thoroughly enjoyed the action. I thoroughly enjoyed Margot Robbie's performance, but I felt like this movie's dialogue really set it back for me, and like you said, you hit the nail on the head. That plot was very predictable and nothing really intriguing.
Well, Lenny, it seems like you stole all the words and ideas right out of my mouth and brain, so I don't know what else to say.
Well, what's your rating?
It was very obvious from the very beginning. 3.5 reels. Like,
okay. Yeah,
like that was my rating for the movie as soon as I finished watching it.
Oh, so you spot on.
Spot on, yeah.
Okay. You guys let us know what you have to say about this movie and about our review. We always ask you guys, give us your comments down below. We will reply to every single one of them. And we have an extra treat for you guys. We do have a giveaway. We'll choose one commenter at random. We'll give you guys this Joey Lee Cabral print of Margot Robbie / Harley Quinn.
That's right. And as always, don't forget to look us up on social media. We're on Facebook at Real Screeners and Instagram real.screeners. And we would like to extend a great thank you to the Alamo Drafthouse for providing great service, food, and atmosphere, and a solid array of movies. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and bell button if you enjoy our reviews. Join us next time for some more real takes on movies.
I don't know. You never know what you're going to get with a DC movie. They have hits and misses.
Or box of chocolates.
And let's not forget, Juniper Caterpillar Butterfly. What's her name? Junie Smollett?
No, man. Like she has a pet hyena.
Oh, come on.
She has a mentor that makes Red Hot Chili Peppers for her. She loves him.
And besides Margot Robbie's stellar performance. And besides Margot Robbie's stellar performance. I keep saying Stelly. And besides Margot Robbie's stellar performance. God.
Stellar, dude.
It's like
And as always, we would like to extend a great thank you to the Alamo Drafthouse for always having great service, great food, great atmosphere, and a great selection of films. Everything is great.
Gravy.
Because I don't know any other adjectives.